Welcome to Subramani. I do not know how many of you know, but or how many of you remember that the economics is also called the dark science, right? Mostly economists and to a great extent now I am seeing journalists, they like to keep on telling you that this country is can't do anything good. It's poised for a dramatic fall in the world's standards. The markets are going to crash, and you're generally doomed. I think the the press is so negative that they think that by keeping on telling you negative things, they can force you into communism, or of course the other great religion of happiness, right? I'm not getting into any religious fight. So yes, communism perhaps is what they want you to go towards. And here I'm reading from what an economist has written in her personal newsletter, saying that India is poised for a great recovery in the economy, which itself is surprising for me coming from that person. But our markets are at such an elevated level that we can only go down from here. So which means when you read that article, I do not know how you're supposed to interpret. So let me just say, first of all, GDP is poised for growth, but the robust rally in the market is in such a shape that the Warren Buffett ratio of GDP to market cap ratio is at an elevated high, and it cannot improve even if your economy improves. The PE ratio at which India is currently there is very high, and it's just not justified. So second indicator showing that the market is high. We are at 104% of the current fiscal, so which is too high, pointed out one brokerage company, and which is well above the historical average of 79%. Again, great. As the name suggests, this ratio is derived by using the total GDP market cap of a country's listed stocks at the numerator and GDP at the denominator, right? And then that person goes on to say, analysts say this signals very rich valuation of Indian stocks. Very rich valuation means you're not supposed to invest more money. Perhaps it's a time to be removing money. I am not saying anything. I'm just reading the article as a layperson would read, and this is what a layperson would understand. Given the pandemic-led slowdown in India's economic growth, our market is unreasonably high. The word unreasonably is also used here. GDP is poised for growth, but the robust rally will keep this ratio high in spite of all this. And analysts at Bloomberg data shows that MSCI India index is trading at a 1-year forward of 20 times, which is much higher than the MSCI Asia ex Japan multiple, which is only 15 times. Again shows that Indian market is overvalued. Even though there has been some moderation in India's valuation, it still remains a very expensive market compared to the other emerging markets. Excellent. Experts at some securities point out that Nifty's 2-year forward PE at 19 times is at a peak, and it is at an 8% premium to long-term average, thus limiting future upside. So valuation is high, so the future upside is limited. The brokerage house is also of the view that expensive valuations are the key dampeners to Indian equities. And the taper talks in the US, which could mean higher US bond yields, could make future gains very muted, and the recent muted IPO gains have hurt the small investor sentiment. This is it. Now when you read this, what are you supposed to do? I am unable to find out what you're supposed to do having read such an article. Does it mean you have to stop doing your SIPs? Does it mean you have to stop investing? Does it mean you have to sit in cash? I really don't know. Now 6 months later, let us say the index is at 59,000 or 60,000, which means it has gone up by 10%. So even in the index, you would have got better return than in the savings bank account. And if you have not noticed, savings bank account interest is now 2% taxable. right? So even assuming you don't know where to invest, when you are continuing to do your SIPs, I honestly don't know how to use such an article. What am I supposed to do after reading such an article? I can read this article, absolutely no problem. I paid money for it, so I must read this article, but I have no clue how to use the article. That is the problem which most of us have with the media, and therefore reading macro or even listening to macro, I mean, today dime a dozen lectures are available online. I have no clue how to use it. So I love what Peter Lynch said, that if you have spent 10 minutes on knowing what is going to happen in the economy or what is happening in the economy, you wasted 7 minutes. It's absolutely true. I have no clue how to use the macro data. Are markets at an elevated level? Yes, markets are at an elevated level. Does it mean you should keep your money in savings bank account? I don't know. If your money required is going to be used after 10 years or 12 years, would investing now hurt you? I don't know. Is it a great time to be sitting on cash waiting for the markets to come down? I don't know. That is the most honest answer that I can give you. But there are people who have somehow decided that this is a great time to be sitting in the sitting on cash and not to be investing. Maybe they are right. Maybe they know that this is a great time to be sitting on cash, but I have never sat on cash. There are times when I have sold and then I have waited, but I may have bought some other shares, because please understand, all the booms and busts that I have seen have been sectoral. So even 2002 or 2003 to 2007 was a huge infrastructure boom. You had your BHEL, Tata Power, Larsen and Toubro, and the banks and NBFCs all going through the roof. But your FMCG or pharma didn't go through the roof, right? Your metals were high, or cement was perhaps high, I don't remember. So some things are up and some things are down. So you decide that you go ahead into some shares which are defensive, which have not gone up, or which are waiting for the lockdown to be removed. So if the lockdown is removed, who benefits? Hotels benefit, timeshare benefits, airlines benefit. So go and buy those shares. Maybe those shares have not gone up. Maybe those shares have also gone up. I am not saying you go and buy airline, but that's what you should do, because you say, oh, these have not participated in the rally. Are there shares which have not participated in the rally? Are there shares which have done well, which have not done well? Well, that's a great place perhaps to enter. Now, with all this, you also receive another news item which says that State Bank of India has collected 13,000 crores in its Balanced Advantage Fund. Now, thanks to ICICI Prudential, Naren, Balanced Advantage Fund is now a very important fund for everybody, not just for ICICI or IPRU, but for every fund house. That has become a very important thing. And after IPRU collected 10,000 crores in its FlexiCap fund, SBI had to do more than 10,000 crores, and I believe from preliminary reports they have collected 13,000 crores. That's great. Now, if you give this news item to this journalist or economist, he or she is bound to say something is completely wrong with the people, right? And I am correct. Now, obviously, this journalist is correct, because someday in the future the market will fall, right? On that day, she has to just produce this article and say, look, market fell. Market will fall, but she has written this article in, say, August 2021, and if the market falls in 2022 from 82,000 index or some 60,000, 65,000 index to 63,000 index, all you have to do is produce this, because nowhere has he or she mentioned numbers. This is based on opinion and views saying, oh, market is very high, but the numbers are not there. The percentage of GDP is there, but that could also change because it's a dynamic number. So the market could go much higher and then come down. So this article can always be produced and said, look, I told you market is high. The advantage for journalists and bloggers like me is to we don't have to be correct, we have to sound smart. So today I have to say, dekh, market niche girega, pakka girega, but I don't have to tell you when it will fall, how much it will fall, where it will stay, when it will fall, nothing I have to tell you. But your financial advisor has to tell you all those things. So that is the challenge in advisory over blogging. So you have to decide what you want to read, how you want to interpret, all yours. Thank you.